Well, hello, greetings everyone, and to everyone streaming in who's still here. It's the last hour of the LTEN conference, and I am delighted, actually honored, to be one of the speakers here for these LTEN talks to kick off this most important hour focused on you, your resilience, your well-being, your self-care, your legacy. And my topic is flourishing while learning. Before we get into that, I want to just invite all of us to take a minute to arrive back in this present moment and settle in from break. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or just look down at the floor or your table. And just take a few slow, smooth, conscious breaths. And as you breathe in, I invite you to imagine breathing in focus, energy, and curiosity. And as you exhale, just give yourself permission to let go. Let go of the past, everything that's already happened, as well as everything that's yet to come in the future. Give yourself full permission to be here now. And then maybe set an intention for yourself about what you'd like to get out of these next series of talks. What do you need to hear, to be open to be able to leave this conference feeling a little more like your best self? And with that, I want to invite you to now imagine, or actually recall, a recent experience that you've had where you were practicing or learning a new skill, and you were doing it with others, and it was going really well. It was a peak experience. In that moment, you had energy and focus for the task at hand. You felt calm and joyful about what you were doing. And you felt supported and connected to the people that you were practicing with. Allow this memory to sort of play through your mind as a movie. And also, allow the experience to happen again in your body, as if it's happening right now. So if your eyes have been closed, you can go ahead and open them. And I want to name what you just experienced. It was a moment of flourishing while learning. You had the experience of having your well-being in that moment optimized, fully balanced, so that you could bring your best full self to that learning or practice experience. And I believe that as human beings, we are all built for balance. And this is just not my idea. This is science. And if you took freshman biology in high school, you're familiar with this term, homeostasis. It's actually derived from the Greek words stable and steady. And what homeostasis is our body's innate ability to rebalance itself when the conditions outside require us to get more stable. And in my mind, one of the most elegant, beautiful examples of homeostasis in the human body is the process of sweating. And this is how we regulate our body temperature to that specific 98.6 degrees, even when it's getting hotter and hotter outside. Now, good news for all of us, we don't have to tell our bodies to sweat. We have an autonomic nervous system that takes care of that. the decision gets made. Our sweat glands release water, which evaporates to the surface, and we cool down. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today is a process that requires a little more conscious effort to be able to rebalance not just our physical bodies, but our mental, emotional, and social selves. And I want to share with you 4 practices that are simple. Spoiler alert, you already know them. You were born knowing them. That are based on a growing body of science and evidence that says they work, and that you can do quickly and easily without breaking a sweat. But before we get to those 4 practices, I want to just, once again, light the fire, the burning platform, the business case for why practicing these skills to rebalance our well-being is so important. And it has been important even before COVID. So let me ask, does this seem like your modern world that you live in every day? It certainly describes the world that I've been living upright and walking around in for the last 55 years. A lot of motion, lots of decisions to make, actions to take every single day, an abundance of time, energy, and focus spent on our work lives, and a solitary focus as individuals. We all just, at the end of the day, are solitary human beings. Now, in and of themselves, these characteristics of our modern world are not bad. These are actually strengths that we use every day, being in motion, taking actions, working hard, and striving as individuals. But as we've been reminded of this week, strengths, when overused, can become weaknesses or liabilities. And here is just one summary slide that captures a lot of what we heard from Dee Dee, from Shola, from Sean, from Chris, who I sat in on his Sustaining Resilience workshop yesterday. The consequences to our physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being when we get out of balance. And this is a sad state of affairs that did predate COVID. And I've been studying this now for almost 20 years. And in 2018, there was a book that kind of rocked my world that was written by a professor at Stanford named Jeffrey Pfeffer. Some of you may have read it too. And he proclaimed in that book that our workplaces have become so unhealthy that people are literally dying for a paycheck. So, what I want to talk about today is how did we get here? Just for a minute, let's take a long view on the past before we think about what to do in the future. And so here's just a quick summary of the evolution of work that has happened over the course of human history. And what we know is that we moved from hunter-gatherer, agrarian society to this manufacturing environment, and finally to a place where we're all in the information age, dedicated knowledge workers pursuing this attention economy. And what this has created for all of us are a set of beliefs, cultural myths, that if we're going to rebalance our well-being, we need to unlearn these. We first need to unlearn the myth of efficiency, which is based on the false belief that time is money. And I would add that, based on listening to Sean, data is God. We need to unlearn the myth of contribution, which subscribes us to the idea that if we're not in service of others, we're not really being productive, and that self-care is in fact selfish. And that's a particularly sticky one when you're part of the life sciences industry, isn't it? And patients are literally waiting. And then finally, we need to unlearn this myth of self-determination, this idea that we are in it alone on the hero's journey. So what I know to be true is that these are difficult problems to solve, and all of us are walking a tightrope. But here's the good news that I want to shift to now. The good news that I've learned through my research and study into this topic of workplace well-being is that it is a skill like everything else that you know how to do, to train, to learn, and to practice. And so what we can do is apply the same principles that we teach others and that we use to learn new skills to develop greater expertise, skillfulness, to rebalance our own well-being. So this was the good news that led me to really think about in my own life, what do I need to do to rebalance? I mentioned that I've walked that tightrope. Several times I've found myself in situations where I can't get up in the morning with a lot of gas in the tank. And so this is the fundamental question that is powerful for me, and I hope for you to contemplate, asking ourselves in this moment, what do I need when life is getting too hot to rebalance? And so here I'm going to tell you about the Well Workout, which is the company I founded after leaving my last corporate training role at Genentech Roche. And I founded this company to revolutionize the human experience of flourishing, including at work, based on this idea that we can't do well until we are well, until we are being well. And so I've got these 4 practices that I want to share with you that are based on science, that are simple, that, oh, by the way, you already know. And rather than just tell you about them, I thought we could do an experiment. Are you game for it? Woohoo! Okay, so we're going to practice. And I'm just remembering that on Tuesday, I wrote on a Post-it note that I was going to onboard vulnerability. Anybody else decide to do that when Dee Dee was talking to all of us? So this is a moment for you to consider onboarding vulnerability and to practice the skills of well-being with me, whether you're in this room or whether you're streaming and you're in your bedroom in your pajamas and people might hear you. So we're going to do 4 things together right now. And we're going to do them quickly, just like a workout, just like we were at the gym. So the first exercise I want to invite you all to do with me right now is to put your hand on your heart. And with your eyes, again, open or closed, I want to invite you to wish everyone in the LTEN community well by repeating these 3 phrases silently to yourself. May you be healthy. May you be happy. And may you know that you are not alone. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you know that you're not alone. And for those of you in the room, if you'd like to have your eyes open, just for a moment here, take a look around the room. All these beautiful, shining faces, people that you've had a chance to meet. Take one last moment, maybe at your table, to just silently wish each other well. Great. All right, moving on. Our next practice is one that I'm going to invite you to do standing, whether you're in the room or at home, watching this live or recorded. And I'm going to put my clicker down for a second. We are going to do one of the most fundamental things that human beings know how to do. We are going to smile and we are going to laugh for no reason, other than the fact that we are alive. So I want to have you feel this in your belly. Let your shoulders go up and down. Get a bit of exercise. Ready? You may even use hand gestures. I don't know why I'm laughing. And we're going to close our little laughter exercise by doing one of my favorite chants. It goes like this. Very good, yay. Do it with me. Very good, yay. All right, take a seat. You did awesome. All right, we're moving on. We're not done yet. We've got another practice to do, and this one will take it down a little bit. I'm going to invite you for just another minute quietly to just contemplate what matters to you right here in this moment on Thursday, November 11th. We spend so much time thinking about what's the matter in our world. I'm gifting you with just a few moments here to think about what matters most. Chances are you're going to see some faces come into your mind's eye, maybe some places. Allow yourself to just reflect on what matters. And finally, we'll transition now to our last practice here in our well-being workout, which is to simply rest. Let go of all thoughts. They may still come, but just give yourself a chance to truly be. And if it's helpful, you can just spend a few moments here counting your breaths. Just in and out 1, in and out 2. Just rest your mind and your body. All right. So congratulations. You've just completed a well-being workout to practice 4 evidence-based skills to increase your physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. And just to name what we did together, we'll get our slides back up. Here we are. So we just did 4 universal practices that you already know. You connected by wishing each other well. You played by smiling and laughing, clapping and chanting. You reflected by thinking about an important topic, reflecting on an insight of what matters most to you right now in this moment. And finally, you just gave yourself the gift of a pause and a few moments of rest. And what we know from the science is that you just did a whole bunch of goodness to your brain and your body. You've got a little more oxytocin flowing, a little less cortisol, your prefrontal cortex is online, and you're a little more balanced and grounded to be able to make decisions, learn, lead, and perform. That's what all the science says. So I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts of how this can impact you personally and your organization. And the first way to measure impact is to just check in with yourself. How are you right now after having done that very short well-being practice? You can just name it for yourself, how you feel. As we've tracked this amongst the now hundreds and approaching thousands of people that have done a well-being workout in the last 2 years, we know that they can go from these types of words, which have little positivity, to these types of words in just a matter of minutes. And when we ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you feel before and after, we've been able to document these increases in overall experience of well-being of upwards of 20%. So I don't know about you, but to be able to get 20% better or more of anything with just a few minutes of investment that literally costs nothing and leverages innate skills that you already have, why wouldn't you do that? So, bottom line, my friends, training resilience and well-being doesn't have to be hard. You are life science professionals. You know how to design and craft beautiful experiences for your learners. The invitation is just to think about bringing balance into your learning experiences, not by giving people a break, but by having it be part of the programming. And 2 quick things I'll give you as leave with tips. A moment to arrive is a great way to offer a reflect and a rest practice. We did it together. And a great play and connect practice that I did when I was leading commercial onboarding at Genentech was to invite people to just make a flag, a fun way to design something that signified how they were similar and to use their right brain creativity. So in closing, I just want to say one last thing. I was given the opportunity when I was leaving Genentech in 2017 to participate in a Dear World experience and to write the message I had for the world on my arms. And this is it. Well-being is a choice. It is a skill that can be practiced, but it has to be triggered by your conscious intention. And I hope that you will pick yourself going forward. And it starts by asking this one question. What do you need in order to rebalance, to make yourself a little less hot, to make yourself a little more stable and steady? And from there, you can ask, what do your learners need? And I know the future is bright when we all lock arms and become well-being revolutionaries together. So thank you so much. I'm delighted to have been here today. Thank you for the warm hospitality, and let's get on with our next talk, shall we?